One of the things that we do here at IAMS to help you grow your business as well, and I'm going to do that rather quickly today since we've got a little bit of a late start. So, I want to make sure that you're all aware of our new producer builders. Very key for folks that are just joining the firm, so you can look and see some of the great ways that you can grow your business with IAMS. Once you reach certain levels, you can take advantage of Social Security claiming seminars, radio that would be more pertinent to what we're going to talk about today. But you can see the various levels of things that you can get when you're in your first 180 days of being with IAMS. And I know there are a few of you on here today that would fall into that group. Many of you already know about our marketing reimbursement program, a simple program. Whenever you do business, money goes in your marketing reimbursement account, and when you do business, then that grows, and you can use that to offset some of your expenses. So that's something to talk with your sales director about. Referred producer program, we've grown our business here via referrals, probably much like many of you out in the field. And the way that we reward that is that when your referral does business, and we pay you a little bonus based on that, and based on the business for as long as they're doing it with us. So those checks can get quite large and quite beneficial for you. If you're not doing EAPs, I would encourage you to go to our website and sign up for our EAP platform. But basically, all we do there is we give you the ability to do multiple apps with multiple carriers, all from one website. So it's a single sign-on of the Firelight application, and that's the application most folks use. If you're not doing EAPs, you probably don't know that how quickly or how quick the turnaround is on that with our carriers. So I would encourage you to do that. Simplicity of it, I think you'll find very intriguing, and the quickness of it, I think you'll like that a real lot. So a lot of reasons to do e-applications. The Creative Solutions team, they can help you grow your business and do things to help you right along the way. I'm going to go back here. I just want to make sure you all saw those new producer builders in various levels, 1, 250, 500, 750, and $1 million level are all available to you. So our advertising teams, these are they do a great job with helping you. If you're working in our business at all and want to have a good feel for an image building process, I think you'd be really happy with what our teams can do there for you. We have a very robust group of folks that work with producers in the field just like you all the time, and that makes for a really smooth and easy transition for you. And we do most of that work, and we do whatever we can pro bono. We're going to do most of it at cost. Obviously, this is not an area where we are looking for profits at all. We're just looking to help you grow your business. So it's a great opportunity. If you're not using some type of retirement analyzer type software where you kind of help your client get a feel for where they are in their retirement journey and giving them a nice graphic look at where they sit today and where they're headed based on their current outlook, I think you'll be very pleased with the retirement analyzer. You'll like it a lot. You can see before you right there what some of the questions that you can answer with the software, but what you need to know when you're working with it and you take some time with your client is you'll find it makes your relationship with them much less of a one case type of deal, more of a holistic approach to what they're trying to accomplish. So if you have interest in that, we make that available to our producers at our cost. So if you're doing business with us, even if you're just getting started, haven't done business, give Marcus a call and have him walk you through it. Maybe give you a 20 or 30 day look at it and see if it's a good fit for you. I think you'll many of our best producers that do the largest amounts of business swear by the retirement analyzer. So I would give that a good close look. We've got a great wealth management firm, RIA. So if you're looking at becoming an IAR, you're already an IAR and looking for a good relationship there, I would encourage you to give us a call. Talk to your sales director and see if we can set you up with a 5-minute call with somebody over with IAMS Wealth, whether it's Charles or Mike or Duncan. There's really a great team of folks that have helped many of our producers transition into the wealth management business. And then for others that are already in that wealth management business, if you're unhappy with maybe the fees that you're paying or the value that you're getting for those fees, or maybe unhappy with the payout, one thing that always strikes people and surprises them about our payout, we're just a little bit over 1%, which I think 1% is kind of the norm. We're a little bit above that. But the key is we don't go through a grid. So you're going to get 100% of that 1%. You don't get 90, 80, 70, 60 of it. You get it all. So if you have interest in that all, give your sales director a call and have them walk you through IAMS Wealth Management. I want to make sure, too, that you are all well aware of our Top Producer Summit. The Top Producer Summit is still in mid-qualification. Qualification runs through the end of June, and so you've got still four good solid 4 months to qualify. It's been an 18-month qualification. It takes 4.5 million of annuity premium to qualify. Life premium counts about 10 or 11 times. Target premium counts about 10 or 11 times. Single premium life counts about 1.5 times. All the business that you do counts towards you and your guests joining us on the Top Producer Summit. You can see we're going to start off at Rome and we're going to go to Venice, which doesn't sound like a long cruise, but in order to do that, you got to go down on the boot of Italy and back up along the coasts of Greece and Montenegro and Croatia. Really beautiful, beautiful area, and you're going to be able to see it all from the convenience of your room. If you want to, you have a deck. You can imagine waking up in the morning and watching the coast of Greece go by, or moving down through Sorrento and Capri. It's just a beautiful area, and everyone that joins us will have a veranda, and they will also be on the concierge level, which sounds great, with 24/7 access to all the food and drink you can imagine, which is great. But other benefits of that is it gets you on and off the ship earlier in front of the rest of the sailors, and it's a relatively small ship to begin with, but still it'll be nice to kind of get that special treatment of the on and off. And of course, you'll have somebody to shine your shoes and press your clothes for you as well, for you and your guests. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. We're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be one of those trips of a lifetime. We'd love to have you join us on our Top Producer Summit. Still plenty of time to qualify. So I wanted to take a minute. I didn't give Dave a proper introduction as we started off. Dave is just going past 40 years in the business. He has been a producer all of that time. He handles both securities and insurance products and has done that throughout his career. He's been with us now for about 15 years, been coaching for about 12, and been a very instrumental in many of our folks having very good increases in their production over the years. So he's done business practice coaching, seminar coaching. He has a radio show, so that is available for coaching as well. And we'll talk about Social Security claiming seminars that are available from Dave as well. So Dave is a regular producer, 500 plus seminars under his belt, probably 25 to 30 years of radio experience. But the main thing I think from your standpoint that's important is that he is fighting the same battles every day that you are. How do I get in front of more people? And once I'm in front of them, how do I move from talking to them about Social Security or any of the other financial plans to where we're actually have a client producer relationship. So he's really good at the transition part of that business as well. So we're really fortunate and feel lucky to have Dave aboard with us today. Dave, are you with us?
Absolutely.
I see you have your money tie on in this picture.
I do. No, yeah, my Monopoly tie. Darn right.
Monopoly tie, yeah. So I'm going to hand the screen off to Dave. Dave is going to walk through Social Security claiming. Dave, one of the presentations was corrupted, so I had to go back and reload another one. I think it may even be the more recent one. So I think you'll be in good stead here. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the keyboard and mouse.
Okay, thank you much. And thank you very much for everybody being with us today. 9 a.m. Central Time. Bunch of folks want to learn about Social Security. Well, that is wonderful. See if I can get on the right slide here. Yeah, I've been around for a long time. God, Steve, when you say 40 years, that just makes me seem really old, but it has been a long time. And this presentation will take exactly half an hour. So we're going to be done at quarter to the top of the hour, and we'll answer any questions along the way that you have. So type those on in. And again, just appreciate being with me. We're going to talk about Social Security, how maybe that could change your practice, how you look at Social Security. And again, like I said, if you've got a question, certainly type it in. This is information from Sarah O'Brien, who was a journalist with CNBC. And I took this word for word from the excerpt. She says, most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. And then it goes on in the body to say a majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor, a recent study said. Is that wild? Even if they work with a financial advisor, they really don't get any information on Social Security. So I want to see how much you really know about Social Security. And there is a 5-question quiz, and I want you to take this. Yeah, I know it's kind of like going back to school. It might bring you bad memories, but Let's see how much you know about Social Security claiming. So first of all, this test, only 1 out of 300 seniors can ace it, and only about 1 out of 20 could ace this test. I did. There was one kind of tricky question, but interesting questions. So here's the first one. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Write your answer down. What is it? What's the answer? If you guess full retirement age, you're wrong. It's age 70. Yeah, the longer you wait, the bigger your benefit is. Question 2, what's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? If you put 62, you're wrong. It's 60. A 28.5% discount, but you can get it at age 60. Number 3, does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for a spousal benefit? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yes or no? Yep, you do. Question, I'm going to give this one to you. Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yes, they can. Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Dave just gave you one. Yes, you can. If those 4 stipulations are met. You got to guess 2 of the 4 stipulations. So you still, even though I gave you the yes answer, what are 2 of the 4 stipulations that have to be met? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Okay, so here you go. First one is your marriage had to at least last 10 years or longer uninterrupted. Couldn't get married for 5, divorce 5 more, same gal, no, guy, no. Has to be 10 years continuously. Currently unmarried, the one claiming the benefit, X is at least 62, the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. If all those line up, you can do it. If you got 2 of those right, I'm going to give you the answer right on this. And number 5, are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? What do you think? Answer is, write it down. Yeah, you can. And those 4 stipulations we talked about already. Yeah. So 5 questions on Social Security. How'd you do? If you got 4 or 5 right, hey, you unless you just guessed on all, no, you know Social Security. Good for you. Most people are going to get only 1 or 2, maybe 3 at the most correct. And that's where coaching comes in. We coach 3 different ways through the FMO of IAMS, and I'm the coach, Dave Pimper. What happens is you can go in and have it paid for with seminar marketing. I got a seminar, Social Security seminar, this tomorrow and Thursday, and we've already got it's somewhere between 45 and 50 signups right now. I'm very happy with that. We get guaranteed that you're going to get 35 signups, $2,750. Pretty reasonable. And we coach you up. I coach you up on Social Security. I'm not in your hierarchy. I don't get paid for that. IAMS stipends me to coach you and to stay with you. You can use me at any time. There's something called Retirement Boss Radio, which is a radio host show. Believe it or not, 2 weeks ago we got 6 appointments in 1 week. Last week we got 4 appointments. Is that wild? But if we get 10 appointments a month, I'm happy. We're above that, but if we get 10 a month, I'm happy. Runs $3,000-$4,000 to be your own radio host. We have a turnkey system. Social Security is paid for again by IAMS to coach you, or you can just $800 and get coached up on Social Security claiming on 4 sessions. So you got 3 different ways. No FMO offers you 3 different ways with a coach to teach you Social Security claiming. Okay? All right, now let's go back. I kind of jumped forward there a little bit. I think this is wild. So when it talks about how much Social Security is left on the table, This is from Jana Heron, wrote the article with USA Today a couple, 2.5 years ago. She says, doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. 100,000 of lifetime income. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Retirees will lose an average of, get a load of this, $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security benefits at the financially optimal age. Bizarre. The best age, it depends on a bunch of factors too, but that's what we work through with clients. But over $100,000 is lost in lifetime benefits. It's a lot of money. And that's what we help people by knowing Social Security. You know, if you're working the pre-retired or just retired crowd, you're working that rollover money crowd. Yeah. How can you not know Social Security? It's a major source of income for the majority of retirees. Little stroll down memory lane. You know, Social Security was signed into law in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, first check in 1940, so 5 years later. Age 65, that used to be the only age you could take Social Security. Sometimes people get that mixed up with Medicare, thinking you have to take Social Security too. You don't. It's variable between the age of 62 and 70. Now it is. COLAs started in 1975, cost of living. This year it's 5.9%. That's the highest in nearly 40 years. It's wild. In 83, taxation started in 93. Bill Clinton, from where Ronald Reagan started, upped it to 85% if you make X amount of money. On brackets, there's not much changes every year. Full retirement age changes, and you know, there's some COLA changes, but the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015 implemented and started in 2016. Yeah, that phased out file and suspend over 6 months and restricted application over 8 years. There's still 2 years left nearly of restricted application available. 59% of all retirees count their Social Security as their major source of income. It's wild. That's how important it is. So this is kind of Social Security 101, okay, to keep it pretty simple. But there's 3 ages or dates that are important with Social Security claiming. 3 ages or dates. What's the earliest you can take? The earliest is age 62. And you're going to be discounted anywhere, depending how old you are and when you were born, it's discounted somewhere between 25 and 30% discount. Okay? Full retirement age is when you get your full benefit, somewhere between age 66 and 67. And if you want to wait and delay your benefit, it will grow, a guaranteed 8% after each year after full retirement age. But you've got to take by age 70 or you just lose the benefit. You don't get any benefit after 70. So those are the 3 ages or dates that basically make up Social Security. People ask, can Social Security have a huge value? You darn right if you claim at your right time. Not the right time, not a right time, but if you claim at your right time, yeah, then it's a big deal. I mean, you can really maximize your Social Security income. Yeah. And Steve, those are the new slides, so that's great. This just got updated. Back to 12/31 of 20, there still was a net increase in money coming in from payroll taxes. It's about 2.8 trillion. I just read yesterday, I don't think it's come out with the trustees administration report yet, but I think they're pretty sure there's going to be a loss of around $31 billion. First time since 1983. So that's basically first loss in nearly 40 years, where the trust fund will start going down, and then it will start mushrooming. It's going to start snowballing because of all the baby boomers retiring, and the pandemic has something to do with that, especially last year, people being laid off and needing income, etc. But according to the trustees administration with Social Security, money will run out with this trust fund in the year 2034. So about 12 years. So you're going to see a change in Social Security. There's either going to be more taxation. There's going to be different ages. Like right now, you don't pay Social Security anything above 147,000. That's the max. Well, they might like Medicare, Medicaid. There you pay it all the way up, no matter what your income is. So, and 65 was the only age you could take Social Security years ago when it started. And now it's anywhere between 62 and 70. So maybe those ages will change also. Very well could. Okay. Any questions? Type them in. We'll be more than happy to answer those for you. So is it a pay-as-you-go system? Those are facts. Yes, it's a pay-as-you-go system. Payroll taxes is a 6.2% that you pay on your payroll tax, and the 6.2% the employer pays. Yeah, that's 12.4%. That goes in to fund the nearly $1 trillion, just shy of $1 trillion of benefits that are paid out. There's about 70,000 people that are taking from Social Security right now. Lots. What does the government buy with that money that comes in to make some money off it? They buy special issue Treasury government bonds. Special issue Treasury bonds. What's interesting is the government basically borrows against those right away, and it leaves IOUs, so IOUs with interest. So there isn't any bonds backing Social Security like they used to be. There's really IOUs. And some people think that that's a Ponzi scheme. It's not. It's not a Ponzi scheme, and I will tell you why. It's because if that's a Ponzi scheme, the American currency is a Ponzi scheme. The dollar bill in your pocket, what backs that? Does gold back it, silver back it, bonds back it? No. The full faith and credit of the U.S. government. It's an IOU to the U.S. government. Same exact backing and strength that backs Social Security, the benefits. Now, if cash is worthless, now I'm in trouble about Social Security claiming. Yeah, I am. So let's just go and talk, figuring it out. It is complicated, and we've got software that does a great job of telling you just the exact best time when to claim. But what happens is there's 40 quarters of coverage. That's what you need. You need to make at least this year $1,510. That's $1,510. If you make that, you get a quarter of coverage. You can earn up to 4 a year. That's $6,040. That $6,040 gets you 4 credits. You need 10. You need 10 years of working. And if you get that, you get a minimum. You get the minimum Social Security benefit. So you look at your earnings over your working career. The more you make, the bigger it is. The less you make, the lesser it is. Then at what age do you start the benefit? Earlier you take it, the lesser it is. The later you wait, the bigger it is. And of course, from that quiz question, up to the age of 70 to maximize the benefit. Now that's on a single side. What happens is that when you start looking at spousal benefit or divorced, there's other ages that are higher, that you'll make more income on, but for a single person, age 70. They take your 35 highest inflation adjusted years. So just because you made only 19,000 back in the 70s, that may be like maximizing it today. It might be topping off one of your years. And then there is a cost of living. Since 75, there's only been 3 years there hasn't been a cost of living allowance raise. 2010, 2011, and 2016. Those are the only 3 years. This year, 5.9%, highest in almost 40 years. Wow. Yeah. And everybody gets that benefit. Of course, the costs are higher, but everybody gets the cost of living benefit. I love that dog. My favorite picture. So if you're born between 1943 and 1954, your full retirement age is age 66. If you're born in 55, I was, 66 years and 2 months. If you're born in 56, 4 months, 57, 6 months, all the way up to 1960 and later, going up 2 months, it's 67. How about a newborn child born today? What's the full retirement age of that newborn? 67. May change in the future, but right now it is 67. And full retirement age is when you get your full benefit, not your largest, but your full benefit. So depending whether your full retirement age is 66 or 67, if you take as early as you can at 62, it's going to be decreased and discounted somewhere between 25 and 30%. And then it goes up approximately 5% a year. And then at full retirement age, either 66 or 67, you get 100% of your benefit. If you wait longer than that, it's guaranteed to grow, with the exception of just 1 year at 67. It's guaranteed to grow 8%. Excuse me. So 8%. Ask yourself, where can you get a government guarantee income stream or availability of principal gain of a guaranteed 8% a year? Can you say nowhere? Look at this year, you have 5.9%. So if you, like I waited, I delayed mine, so I got 8%. I'm hypothetically, let's say I've got a $3,000 benefit. I've been a little higher income producer. Yeah, I get that 8%. I get the 5.9. That's almost 14%. 14% on 3,000. Yeah, it's $300 a month. My benefit will go up this year, and part of that's the 8% of delayed retirement credit, just waiting to take it. Part of it is inflation. Pretty wild. So I'm a believer that if you understand the individual benefit, spousal benefit, divorce spousal benefit, survivor benefit, restricted application, those 5 things, if you understand those inside and out, you can basically answer 85% of all questions that are thrown at you from Social Security. So we talked about the individual benefit, it's called an actuarial reduction if you take earlier than full retirement age, delayed retirement credit if you wait longer. If you take early, it's discounted, wait longer, it's added to it. Now, folks, when I'm coaching you one-on-one, we go into this much more in depth. And I'm just saying, just understanding Social Security, if you're doing it the right way, you're going to make money from it. You're going to find assets. You're going to talk to a lot more people, because very few advisors, not the John Q. public, only 1 in 300 could pass that test. But there's only about 1 in 20 advisors that really understand Social Security inside and out. So here, let's just say, and this is in simplistic form, but Dave's PIA, primary insurance amount, that's the amount at full retirement age. That's the dollar amount of benefit at full retirement age. Dave's $2,400, Amy's is $1,000. Dave takes his, Amy takes hers. Dave gets $2,400. Amy gets the option. She can take all of her $1,000 or half of Dave's $1,200. Well, she's going to take half of Dave's $1,200. Is this done automatically? Yes, it is. It's done automatically by the Social Security Administration. How about looking at divorced spousal options? Boy, that and survivors they're left on the table all the time. So here's what has to happen. The marriage lasted 10 years or more continuously. That was one of our questions. Remember those 4 things? We're talking about them now. You're currently unmarried, your ex is at least 62, the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. If all those 4 things, all those stars and moons line up, you can take Social Security claiming as if you're still married to your ex. And both of them can claim at the same time. You can double dip on this. Each spouse can take from each other. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Yep, survivor benefit. My wife says no one gets out of here alive. Isn't that the truth? Maybe spiritually, but not physically. This hypothetical illustration, Dave and Amy are married. They're both over full retirement age. Say they're both 68 years of age. Dave's benefits $2,000. Amy's benefits $1,200. Who normally dies first? Who does? The guy. And in my seminars, I normally say, you know why he does? Because he elects to. A little Omaha, Nebraska joke. Yeah, Dave dies first. Amy, she can keep her 1,200 or drop her 1,200 and take the 2,000. She can't take them both. It's either or, either hers or her deceased spouse. Well, which one's she going to do? She's going to jump up to her deceased spouse. It's an $800 benefit by doing that. What happens if she doesn't? Then she loses the benefit. You're not going to get some special delivery overnight envelope that says, hey, you're leaving Social Security claiming benefits on the table. You should be doing this. They're not going to tell you that. They can't give advice. And there's also a survivor benefit that's pretty cool, or a widower option, that you could go in and take the widow's benefit and let yours grow and grow and grow and turn it on as late as age 70 without any discounting, even though you're going to take it out at discounted 28.5% at age 60. There's something coming in. So if your deceased spouse had a $2,000 benefit, okay, a $2,000 benefit, they're going to go in and they're going to get, give or take, about $1,365. But your benefit can grow and grow and grow, and as long as it's going to grow above of what their ex was, or what the surviving spouse was, excuse me, if they go in and the spouse that is deceased, if it's higher than that, then what happens is that there's not going to be, it's going to be in your favor. There's not going to be any kind of discounting on that because the widow's benefit is a separate benefit than yours. So is there still file and suspend with survivors options? There is, just not married couples. All right. So coordinating a spousal benefit. And I had someone type in on the question just saying, boy, this is complicated stuff. It is, but I make it, when we're coaching together, I can go much more in depth, much slower, go through all the information. There's a book that we have you read if you're coaching with me. I call it the Bible of Social Security. You can call me anytime you want to, email me anytime you want to get information. So I stay available, and I'm not in your hierarchy. I am stipends me a little bit each month to stay on board with you. So, and I got tons of people who I help, I coach, and I give them information on Social Security. Okay. So the Bipartisan Budget Act, it changed. It took file and suspend and phased it out over a short period of time, 6 months. Took restricted application, the twin sister of that, and took it over 8 years. And we still got a little less than 2 years to go till that 8 years is up. So if you're born before January the 2nd of 1954, born before January the 2nd of 1954, you could do a restricted application as long as your wife is age 62 and as long as that wife or husband is taking, the spouse is taking. So let's just kind of do a scenario and show you how this works, okay? I don't like slides like this that are nothing but type, but so be it. Amy and Dave, in this hypothetical situation, are both full retirement age or over. Dave was born before January the 2nd of 54. Amy doesn't have to. She just has to be 62. Dave's PIA is 2,400. Amy's is 1,000. To have this work, Amy has to file for her benefit. Okay? So she gets her 1,000. She's over the full retirement age. Dave's going to let his grow. So really smart dude. Going to let his grow the guaranteed 8%. But when he says, now I'm going to restrict it, because he was born, he's 68 years and 3 or 4 months old, he can go on in and he can restrict his application. What does that allow? Why is that important? He gets a benefit. He goes in and gets a spousal benefit of half of Amy's benefit, which is half 1,000 is 500. That 500 that he gets is free, absolutely free money. No strings attached. 500 a month times 12, $6,000 a year. I mean, in nearly 2 years, you could have almost, $12,000 It's still available restricted, but very few people even look at it. There's no talk about it anymore. A couple, 2, 3 times a year, I'll be able to help people here, which is really exciting. So what can Social Security Administration do, and what can't they do? You know what they can do? They can give you the highest benefit right now that you're entitled to. That's what they can do. You know what they can't do? They can't give you advice. And the reason is because there's things they can't ask you legally. They can't ask you, what's your income streams right now? What's your assets look like? What's your health like? What's your expenses? How much debt do you have? What's your goals in the future? They can't ask you any of that because they'd have to give you advice then. So you know what? Who gives advice? Dave Pimper. If you know Social Security, yourself. And when you can give advice, it opens up the complete portfolio of the client, prospect. This comes from the Program Operational Guide, the POMS manual, Program Operational Manual System. Yeah, it says provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. We do. They don't. That's strong. So I always say consider all your income streams before you claim Social Security. I'm going to read each one of those because they're that important. But the first bullet point is Social Security, it's not a standalone income stream. It's not. Secondly, Social Security is the most flexible of all income streams. You can start at any time that you want to. Thirdly, claiming at your right time. And I always say not the right time, not a right time, but your right time is paramount. Engineers, mathematicians, scientists will figure out the exact break even, and I'll say, have you considered the survivor benefit? And they go, no. And I say, well, then how can you know the real break even of this? Yeah, makes a difference in a single person. Now, here's the 5 pillars of income. Wages, pensions, income producing assets that you pull an income from. It could be savings, it could be CDs, it could be bonds, it could be 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, Roth, cash values, rental property, farmland, on and on and on. But could there be something we could pull income from maybe and let your Social Security grow? Because there you're guaranteed after full retirement age, 8% a year guarantee plus inflation. I mean, this year it's right at 14%. For anyone that's like myself, where can you have a guaranteed investment at 14%? You cannot. Nowhere. So that's a real important bucket. Number 4, RMDs on traditional IRAs, and then Social Security. So I do my fact finding off of this, but number 3, I uncover every single asset. Like yesterday, we had the Social Security talk, and client comes in, it's got $303,000. About $100,000 of that's in a variable annuity that is proprietary with the insurance company, which I won't be able to move. But surrenders come up in about 11 months, so she'll keep that with it. But the other $200,000, yeah, I'm fact finding and then proposing. That came from that was actually from radio, but they came into asking about when's the best time to take their Social Security. So you know what? As we're getting down here on the slides, and we're going to answer all your questions, but it comes up when to claim Social Security. I mean, there's all different kind of benefits. I mean, there's tons of benefits out there. The big thing is there's just, you got to know there's just a lot to consider for your best claiming decision, period. Remember, there's 3 ways: seminar, Retirement Boss Radio, both of those, your Social Security claiming and all the help from me and all the coaching from me with you, it's all paid for by the FMO. No strings attached. Or you can just pay $800 and get coached up in 4 sessions if you don't want any kind of marketing or any kind of lead source or lead generation to come in. There's no saying, it says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes. You're a procrastinator. If you heard something in this last 30 minutes of my Social Security claiming presentation, you say, I should learn Social Security. Or if you're not in front of enough prospects, I'm telling you what, seminar marketing is hot again. It's not quite what it was pre-pandemic, but it's close. A lot of people are really. I mean, I've got, I think it's about almost 50 plus signups in this seminar for Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, if I don't get somewhere between 10 and 15 appointments, I'll be very disappointed. But I'll tell you right now, if you heard something, yeah, don't wait. If you heard something here, mark yes. Brady Pelzer will give you a call, get us on a calendar with us too. It's about 15, 20 minutes. This is not a high pressured call. This is just kind of seeing what your practice is, and maybe if Social Security could go on in and be a complementary factor to production. Because Social Security is great because you're kind of unique at what you do, but it's a great way to find assets also. They're very open because they want that Social Security information. So, Steve, the poll is up. Hopefully you'll mark yes on that. We can talk here in the next week or two. Steve, I'll turn it over to you for the kind of last final comments and see if there's any questions that have arose that we need to answer.
Yeah, there are a few questions, Dave. Most of them have to do with kind of costs and expenses, and I think as we've gone along, you've answered some of those, so that's good. But there are a couple questions about, I don't know, did you talk much about radio during the course of your webinar today?
Just a little about it, yeah.
I think you might want to just take a second and go through that. There's a couple questions. I mentioned radio early on, and so early on there were a couple of questions about radio, how that works and what we do there. So can you give the guys and gals out there just a quick overview of the radio opportunity and what you've been experiencing on your side?
Yeah, it's a recorded radio show, usually an hour on usually an AM. It's normally a conservative talk radio because that's what people listen to. This is on a Saturday or Sunday. Mine happens to be Sunday at 12 o'clock. But what happens is that radio, especially during the pandemic, was hot. And it's hot now. AM talk radio, even though Rush Limbaugh is now deceased, AM radio, the listenership is sky high, fastest growing segment. And it's a wealthy segment that listens to radio. It's not the kids. It's not the millennials. I mean, my son, he never would listen to radio. He listens to podcasts. He listens to social media. But the people that are 50 and above, no. I mean, they listen to radio. In most of the income demographics of radio is it's higher. I mean, and there's no doubt. I have people ask me, and Steve, you know this, they ask me all the time, well, should I do radio or should I do seminars? Which one is the best there, Dave? It's like saying, is it better to eat an apple or an orange? Well, you know what? They're both good for you. That's just to your own personal taste. I'll say this, the entry for seminars is easier. You can do a one and done. You shouldn't, but you can not in radio. I mean, you got to go in and do it. You got to be committed for 3 to 6 months out because that's how people start listening to you and really, really get a feeling of what you're doing. I have all the time where people will say, hey, I've listened to you for 6 weeks. Well, you know what? This gal yesterday was from radio. She listened to me, she said, for 6 or 8 weeks, and finally she called in, and now we're proposing on over $200,000. So what happens is, I would say this, it's a turnkey system. Even though it's recorded, we have a call center that goes in and takes all of the questions. What happens with the call center is they're going to go on in and they will take that call, and we have an electronic calendar that actually goes in and puts it on the calendar. So your calendar, they can't see the appointments, but it's your calendar that it goes on. In the inbound high touch call center does that. So it's pretty cool. It is. And the normal cost, there's a production team, and you got a co-host, and you got show notes. You don't read it, but I redo the show notes and put it into bullet form. But they're broad subjects, and you don't have to be. I think it's nice if you happen to be a security licensed, but we've certainly got guys that are very successful that just are from the insurance side that are doing fixed index and fixed. So and then I coach you and I critique you, and you can you got me to fall back on any time that you want help within that arena. I've done this type of radio show. This one's for a little over 3 years. I did one called Your Money Matters, which was live for 11 years. And then I did, for 13 years, I did it was a market recap. And so I've done a lot of radio, but if you think radio is too expensive, give me a call. Let's talk about it because I think you'll really be surprised. And it's a turnkey system. We've got it down of how it works and why it works. So we'd love to help you on that.
Yeah, that's really what the questions were, Dave, is kind of the costing on radio, and I know that's going to vary a little bit by area, but just a kind of a general rule of thumb with yours and the guys and gals who you've helped with radio, what are you looking at kind of an average cost, or what you would consider pretty average costs for? Because the biggest cost obviously is the the radio time.
Radio, it is all in. So buying the radio, the hour radio show, you probably get anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20-second ads promoting that every week on the radio station. So it's a real brand image builder. You're viewed as the expert when you're on radio. $3,000 to $4,000 all in, all cost, all in. So receive really even less than the old dinner seminars used to be.
Yeah. Yep. You know? And that's not per week. That's that. So somebody asked me what does it cost per week. That's actually a monthly cost, and that'd be to be on the radio 52 times a year. So
that's right.
Yep. So really, I could tell by the number of questions that we have about that there's some interest. If you want to have that conversation with Dave, just check yes on that poll. He's passionate about radio because his results have been so good. And Dave mentioned the pandemic. I'm sure that's influenced that, because before the pandemic, seminars has always been a very, very big part of your business. But when that got kind of crunched a little bit by the pandemic, or not a little bit, a lot. Not only did it hurt Dave's ability and our producers' ability to do seminars, but it also, I think, increased people looking to radio for solutions, because they didn't have, there weren't a lot of other places to look. So the results have been really good. If you look back, Dave, and said the last 3 months, I know they're not the best when you talk about November, December, January, but what have your average appointment levels been on a monthly basis from radio?
Well, I personally, not counting coaching appointments, but appointments with prospects and money due with from clients. I mean, it's hard for me to do more than 4 appointments a day. I mean, my day-to-day, between client, prospect, and coaching appointments, I got 7 appointments today, which I don't like a day like that. So I will say this. If I can average 2 to 3 appointments per day, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. So that is, if you have, 5-day weeks, so from 10 to 15 appointments within the week's time. I read a guy one time that he had he had 8 appointments a day, every single day. Well, you know what? You're going to have an early grave. You might be rich, but you're going to have an early grave. Yeah, you're going to be divorced 3 or 4 times, and kids will hate you because they don't even know who you are. No, you got to have a balanced life. But I would say I have 10 to 15 appointments a week between radio and seminar. And seminar, we actually we probably get just as many appointments from seminars as we do from radio. Yep.
And over the past 3 months, your radio appointments been averaging 2 to 3 a week, would you say? So 10 to 12 a month?
Yeah, it's a little higher than that, but let's just say that's it. Okay. 10. We're averaging well over 10 appointments per month. Yep.
That's good. So the training on Social Security, you had mentioned during the course of the webinar today that you spend some time with them. And I think it's important to let folks know too that availability to answer questions. Dave has really become quite a valuable expert to our producers around Social Security benefits, just because he spends so much time looking at it and helping other people with it. There's not many answers that Dave doesn't have when it comes to Social Security. So that is part of that as well. I think, Dave, if you're going to talk to somebody, you would say, hey, I'm going to spend, a couple 3 sessions coaching you, and you need to read a little bit. And by then you'll probably know about 80-90% of what you need to know.
I would say that, let's say if you're I say to people, well, from a 1 to a 10, how much do you know about Social Security claiming? Tons of people are like 1 and 2 or 1, 2, 3. Yep. I'll take them up to about a 7. And that next 30%, that is, you just learn from your appointments. Just day to day, you have questions. But after you have about 15 appointments, I'm not kidding you, you've heard virtually all the questions. because the same ones come up over and over again. So I try to take people up from a nothing to a 7, a 1 to a 7, 2 to 3 to 7. If a person's already at a 7, this is very interesting again, Steve. As someone who really understands Social Security, I just got in coaching one, and I said, what's your knowledge? Well, I've done Social Security seminars with another firm and blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, so you really know, what do you think between a 1 and a 10? And the person said, like a 7.5 or even an 8. I said, good. I said, there's no cost to you. Do you want a coaching session on Social Security? We can go through some of the unique things on the slides about the Social Security claiming. You would think most people would say, nope, I already know it. Almost everybody says, I can always have a brush up. And almost every single person learns something when we're walking through it too. So that I think that's very interesting. Yeah. So my goal is to, when you're done, just like that, the babies in the nest of the eagle that's 200 feet up, and there's 5 little birds, and 4 of them, they took off on their own, and that one doesn't want to fly. Well, what does that mom eventually do? It just kicks it out of the nest. And you know what? It's either going to die or fly. And you know what? Hardly ever do they die. They fly. They don't think they're ready, but they fly. That's the same way here. I had one guy say to me one time, which is kind of sad, but he says, you know what? I'm not doing a seminar until I know everything there is about Social Security. Can you imagine driving? I'm not going to drive until I know everything about the car. You know what? And when you start driving, you're a bad driver, but you get better and better and better. And that's the way it is with Social Security. But I get them all of the tools so they're ready to go out there, give that first seminar, and then by talking to people, that's where they really put the polish on the wheel.
Yep. And yes, Arthur, so if you're doing radio or you're doing Social Security seminars, then that Social Security claiming training is part of that package. So Dave, I know you mentioned the $27.50 cost per 35 registrants. That also would include some training on knowledge around Social Security claiming. That's all part of that.
Yep. Yeah, it is. And you know what, Steve? Thank you, but you pay for it. You're paying for. But you know what? People who know Social Security, think about the advisors that you have. I'm not saying there aren't advisors that do good business that don't know Social Security, but look at all the ones. Look all the ones that really do understand. Some of your biggest producers. Like you take like Dennis, or you go in with. Those guys understand Social Security, and you know what? It helps them make money. It helps them because they can give great educational information, and you're doing something Social Security Administration cannot do. It's a real niche, and most advisors don't take advantage, and we want everybody to take advantage here.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks miss is that it makes it very referable. There's a lot of seniors talk to a lot of seniors, and if somebody says, "Hey, I'm trying to figure this Social Security thing out," if you work with somebody, they're going to immediately say, "Well, you should call Dave," because
no, it is. It is. I've got lots of referrals. Well, as we are just, because I want to make sure we're done here at the top of the hour, but if you haven't marked yes or no, please do. And if you do mark yes, and I hope you do, because I enjoy talking to people. This is, like I said, this is not a hard sell. This is just, hey, what are you doing? What's your Social Security knowledge? Here's how it could help you. And you get some free software for 3 months with that. You get some training with myself. You get some. You can call me at any time or email me. I'm open. So we got I'm telling you, we got a lot of yeses that have come through here today, Steve. So that's exciting. That's exciting, and I'm excited to talk to each and every one of you that marked yes.
Yep. Well, and thank you all for joining us today. We do have to close up. I see there's a couple folks that have not been able to vote here. So if there's a reason for that, you've got a technical difficulty, just give us a call. You can call me. You can call for Brady at 1-800-255-5055. We'll go ahead and get you in touch with Dave if you want to spend some time with him. As Dave alluded to, he loves talking to producers like himself, and it really brings him a lot of personal satisfaction to be able to help folks. So if you've got a question that you need some help with, I would, by all means, let's get you set up for a conversation with Dave. As is always the case, we'd love to help you here at IAMS, do everything you can to get you in front of more clients and convert those clients to customers. So whatever we can do to help you, please let us know. Again, that number, 1-800-255-5055. Thank you for joining us on a bright and early on a Tuesday morning. We really appreciate that you took some time out of your schedule, and looking forward to chatting with you in the future. Anything you want to say as we close up, Dave?
No, thank you. I tell you, in production, time is money, and you spent an hour with us today. Thank you very much. Looking forward. Everyone that marked yes, I'm looking forward to speaking with every one of you. Hopefully, I can give you some insight to help your business in the future.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.